Yes, sir. What's up, guys? Welcome to Strength Out of Struggle. I'm Kaz Abrams, your host, aka The One Up. This is also a fit life for those people that have used fit life to use it as an anchor to make things happen and transcend the worst things and turn strength from struggle, and it's just built amazing things. Today I'm a bit overwhelmed because today I sit with one of my mentors, a gentleman that got me onto the TV screens. In fact, I was just a model doing adverts, and we met at Dali Tambo's house, and he was like, "You need to come see me. You'll make a good actor." I was like, I don't know. When I eventually went to see him, well, the rest is history, and we're going to talk about it today. This man went from just being an MC at small gigs to now owning one of the most lucrative and amazing. It's just growing from strength to strength. Magos Media, they're in casinos, they're in multimedia, and they've helped me launch this, my dream come true, this podcast. Please welcome, and it's hard to get hold of him. He's here in town for a few days. Petro Magos, Magos Media, the legend. My man, it is so nice to have you. Today is about you. It's about giving you your flowers. You usually behind people like me.
Yeah.
Today it's about you. I want to talk about your journey. And welcome to Strength Out of Struggle.
Thanks for having me on your podcast. It's so cool. I'm so glad we got to spend some time. Yeah, you in the driving seat for a change.
You used to be on the other side.
Exactly.
Let's go right back to the beginning when you were younger. When did you realize that you wanted to be in this game, entertainment?
I reckon when I was 14, I started as a tour guide, believe it or not, on buses.
Yes.
On buses on an island in Greece. That's when I got onto a microphone.
Are you serious?
You see, I shuffle. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's a long time ago.
At 14?
At 14.
Were you staying there at the moment?
I was living there for about 3 years on an island. My parents had immigrated to Greece. I lived there, and then I came back to South Africa. I used to go downtown Joburg. School was in Bree Street, man. I used to go to this building, and they used to have these like metal detectors in those days. Can you imagine?
Wow.
In 1989.
Yes.
88, 89.
Yes.
I was walking through metal detectors to get into my class.
What school was that?
Man. Damlin.
Okay.
Damlin was actually a high school in those days.
Yes.
And they used to get some of the best marks. They were what Crawford is today to a large extent. And then they evolved into doing diplomas and all of that stuff. So it was Bree Street, downtown Joburg. Yeah. I used to walk to school. I used to catch a bus. Joburg was actually quite vibrant.
So at 14 At 14 you were in Greece. You came back?
Yeah.
Well, how old were you when
I
you
was
came
17 when I came back.
And what do you specialize in when you went to college?
Listen, I matriculated and then I landed up going to work. I started working at 19 at Sun City.
Yeah.
That was my first gig. But I used to, while I was sort of at school, I used to do fashion shows on the mic and do MC.
Well, I mean, that voice, man. When did the voice break? When did that sound come?
I don't actually know, but I think that 14 kind of getting on the mic and trying to talk to people in terms of being a tour guide and whatever, because I was on a bus and then we'd get off the bus and then we'd be talking to people. So I think it developed kind of from that age. So it probably broke just before 14, thank goodness, because I think I was probably squeaky up until then.
So now when you were younger, what I wanted to know is, when did you know, I mean, I know you did the tour guide stuff, but when did you know that this was the line that you wanted to be involved in?
So I reckon, the issue was that I come from a tribe, right?
Yeah.
Very tribal. Both my parents were Greek. You come into this world of entertainment industries frowned upon.
Yeah.
It's not cool. That's like, this is not what we do, right? You go study, you get a proper job, or you open a restaurant, or you have a supermarket, or the typical world of what my family came through. And I realized, so I was torn. It was very difficult for me. I went to Sun City. I was doing very well. I was working, but it never felt like I was doing justice to what I was brought up.
What were you doing at Sun City, by the way?
I was actually hired as an MC. I was working at bingo and MC, and I was MCing on the casino floor.
Yes.
I was having too much fun. It just didn't make sense to have fun and earn money. It was messing with my tribal connection, you know.
Yes.
And this is kind of like not, like what's going on.
Yeah.
So I actually got a job offer from a restaurant called Tivoli in Rosebank.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
Yes.
and Costa and the guys that were running it, they said, listen, why don't you come run our restaurant? Would you consider?
Yeah.
I thought, you see, it's more along what I should be doing. That's like a career,
and more acceptable,
story,
in
more
the family
acceptable.
line. Yeah.
I did that probably for a month.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yes.
Probably one of the worst things that I ever tried doing in my life, ever. And my folks actually had a coffee shop, and they were in the restaurant business. They used to have a bridge across Pritchard Street, downtown Joburg. Anyway, the long story is that I landed up getting involved with a restaurant, and it was just as the apartheid regime was changing.
Yeah.
And there was this. It was actually my birthday. I took my birthday off and went to see my parents. I was at 17th of May.
17th of May.
So I'm across the
17 is a good number.
Yeah, it's
I'm 17 July. So
see, Star of the Magi.
Yeah.
So I'm in the bridge.
Yes.
Watching the cars go by. I'm sitting. I happened to have a school friend that came, and I was having a coffee. Yeah. I'm hanging out. I walk out of the restaurant, walk them out, and the bomb goes off.
What?
Yeah, I mean, crazy. They're bombing restaurants in those days.
Yeah.
Oh, it was hectic. I mean, no one knew who it was behind. Was it the right? Was it the left? It was exactly. Very politically unstable time. And I've just left the restaurant. My parents are thinking I've just been blown up.
Yes.
I'm thinking my parents are gone.
Miraculous moment, almost like.
I had a freak out, man. And they planted it in the toilets. So there was a lot of dust. I was running. Everyone's running to get out. I'm running in the opposite direction because I'm going to go see where my folks are. Get up. Thank God my parents were fine. Yeah. Restaurant got damaged, but it got fixed and whatever. So that was quite interesting. And that, I think, was a turning point because, funny enough, my manager from Sun City phoned me and said to me a few days later, said, I heard that you were in a little bit of an incident. Everything okay? Cool. Listen, wouldn't you consider coming back to Sun City? I know you left. You didn't think there was a future, but come talk to me. And then I landed up going back to Sun City.
A break.
Yeah.
And just, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, I landed back at Sun City, and then he was just like, listen, you can do a whole lot of stuff. We dig you. We want you back, whatever. It was fluff. Anyway, it was cool. Great guy, Russell. And I landed up going back. And then I opened the carousel.
Yes.
And so I was part of the Sun International machine for about 5 years. Great company. I loved working with them. It was a super experience. I got a lot of experience of it. What happened was my next step was they formalized the position. It became more of an on-floor. Yes. I had to prove that it was a position that was worth having.
So you were the first of us.
100%.
You created something that ended up employing a lot of us.
100%. Because the guys, when they approached me, they said, listen, we're going through a retrenchment process. We've got this position. Well, they said, we've got this position. We don't know what it is. We want it on the floor. We know there's something here, but you're doing a bit of it. Would you take it on as a permanent position? Because I was also.
But you had to make it. You had to sell it to them. You had to make it make sense to them.
Yeah, because I said, well, okay, what is the job description? The guys were like, well, we don't know what the job description is. You're going to create it. I said, geez, okay. And then I said, but they said, well, you got 3 months. Okay. And I was like, I got 3 months. Okay, and then do I go back to working in gaming in slots? And they were like, no. We're retrenching. You're out.
If it doesn't work, make something out of nothing.
But you can stay where you are and we'll find someone else. Wow. And I said, no. I'll step up. It's cool. I'll take it. If I don't make it work. So you bank on yourself. You're like, okay, I'm making this work,
Nothing like banking on yourself.
Yeah. And that got me started. And I think that kind of break, that chaos got me back in. And anyway, I landed up creating this position, which now I've, trademarked through the years, called promotion jockeys. Yes. And promotion jockeys kind of was the beginning of this thing. And then I trained, obviously, a whole lot of people. Yeah. What was it, like probably 4 years after I left? It was in 1998 I started the business, 99.
So I met you. You were working at the agency at Gaynors.
I was at Gaynor. I started Gaynor Artist Management for Gaynor. And it was a model agency. Yeah.
So I was I was a model under Gaynor at G3.
Wow.
And then Gaynor, when I first met Gaynor, I was underweight. I was a Michael Jackson impersonator.
I remember that.
And I went to her, a friend of mine, Ross, in the States. He took me to Gaynor to become a model. And she's like, you do good, but you just need to put on a bit of size. Can you imagine, bro? You need to put on a bit of size. I was like, what? I felt so... I went and I trained every single day.
Yeah.
Then I went back to about 6 months later. She's like, okay. Then about a week later, I got my first KFC commercial.
That's
So
mad.
Gano was my first model agency.
Yeah.
Then I moved on.
I can tell you the discussion was going, darling, I do like you,
Yes.
but you definitely have to put on.
Yes, darling.
Darling.
Just a bit more, a bit more manly, And anyway, yes, Gano was a legend. And so, how do you explain her, the class that she exuded? Like a Meryl Streep type of...
Exactly.
Type of
I mean, she was a model in herself. I think she'd won, I don't know if she was Miss South Africa or whatever, but she was quite famous in her time. And then she started the model agency. And
so I modeled with her, and then I was always into... I was a dancer and a musician, so that was
very talented, by the way, very talented.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to do them in 90 still. So that happened, and then I got headhunted by Ice models. There was Steeds, Kathy Steed.
I remember.
And they got bought over by Ice, and then I remember they were doing this. There's this pilot show for Dali Tamba, this game show, and we meeting at Dali Tamba's house.
Yeah.
And then I meet you, and we greet each other, and we're
competing.
But we both, we just digged each other.
Yeah, we did.
And at the end of the day, we both ended up getting work on those things. Like, one is the Bachelor, and I don't know, the long story short was, I got the job, but you said to me, yo, bro, I'm starting off this acting thing. I think you'll be good. I'm at Gano's, blah, 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 blah. And you gave me your card, and I was like, I mean, that sounded interesting, but I wasn't that confident in that aspect yet.
Yes.
So I just remember getting that job, and afterwards giving you a call. I'm like, let me just see what this is about.
I mean, you've seen a guy, I mean, he was ripped, sick, 8-pack, ripped, man, looked like you were a machine,
But in our own heads, we always we don't know. You still that bullied kid my mentality, I was still that kid that was bullied. And I was still trying to be more. But you saw something in me that obviously I didn't see at the time, that I hoped I had. Came to see you, and then...
I mean, I was 26, man. How old were you then? I don't know. You're younger than me, I think.
So we were... I mean, I was...
You were like early 20s or whatever.
Yes. I remember the first casting you sent me for, I think was Strongmen Superheroes. I found the shorts for that, bro. It's on my YouTube. It's on my YouTube page.
I must go check it out.
And remember when I got the part as Yellow Mantis first. Then the main American guy dropped out of the Road Cat part.
Right.
And you're like, listen, they're gonna have to change the parts. So now we got to go and re-audition again. And then you came with me to the audition. And you were next to me behind the camera while I was auditioning in this American accent.
No way.
Yes, and Michael Garcia was behind the camera.
I remember him.
And I just remember you being there, me feeling like, okay. And you were like, oh. You just gave me this belief. I thought if he believes in me, then,
Yeah.
And after that, the rest is history. I wanted to ask you, what did you see in me? And because that was the beginning of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw you and I saw that confidence.
Yeah.
And you were just like a Pied Piper of sorts. Just come through, blah, 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 blah. So from your perspective, what was it like?
I don't know. It's a difficult thing because I think there's a unique ability that I have, which is a gift, really. Yeah. It's really a gift. It's being able to see people and see them where they're meant to be.
Yes.
Which is what's happened and why I've grown this business, because it's not me. It's like I've got a team of 75 people that work around the system.
Started with one, bro.
And it started with one And
wow.
But being able to see, these people, this is the right person that can do whatever it is, and it's been a nice growth. And I think it's just I'd say it's a gift. Probably, Malcolm Gladwell will tell you, thin slicing and lots of experience, and maybe it is just seeing people over the years for many, many years, and being able to picture people saying, "Oh, I do this. Oh, okay, cool, interesting. I don't see you doing that. This person, I'm doing this." And I'm successful. And maybe, just meeting, because I was in the front line all the time on the mic, talking to people, asking them, what do you do? What, that kind of stuff. See all the guys running around, all the influencers now asking, hey, you're a millionaire. But anyway, that was the gift. I mean, Bongani Bingwa came through the stable. Jason Goliath,
all of us.
I was chatting, came through the stable. And there were just like big names today that have, that I've been blessed to have spent time with and been able to coach through things and guide, and then post the performance and the acting stuff, being able to say to me, P, I'm starting this, what do you think? And being able to, and that's nice. It's a great legacy for me.
It's nice to always be connected. So as you have mentored us, and now we've come back together again and again and again, and it's not over, because I think we saw something similar in each other. That
Yes.
we saw the God in each other, first and foremost. I like to say, I
Yeah.
see the God in you, because we all have that.
Yes.
And when you believe in yourself and you believe in others, it's just an amazing thing when you see someone growing. A part of you is succeeding as well. So
Yes.
my success is your success, and vice versa.
100%. I think, also when you're mentoring, there's no place for, I'm not going to share.
Yeah.
When you're mentoring, and that's what I did. Obviously, so if you think about it, I was in a very unique place where I'd built this concept around what promotion jockey would be. What is this thing, right? What is it? So I built this up, a whole lot of knowledge, and 4 years later, 96, I left Sun International. So 4 years later, a lot of the casinos were opening, and they started to headhunt me. Started with Caesar's Palace in those days, and Mark Jenkins, a good mate of mine, great guy, marketer, and he called me. I landed up chatting to him, and then other competitors were calling me and saying, listen, we'll double your fee. Whatever you were getting paid, we'll pay you double. And I was just like,
You had to make this DNA. You had to, what is that movie with the old Batman where you had to make a few.
Duplicity, yeah. Listen, the reality is that in life, you can't be greedy. So I just believe that, I could have just jumped ship and gone to the biggest bidder and the highest bidder. And that's okay if that's what you need to do. But I believe that doesn't build relationships.
Yes.
And if you drop people for other people because they're giving you more money, that is a short play.
Your character as well.
And it shows your character.
It's all about, I've always believed it's about a marathon, not a sprint. And I tell my clients as well, when I'm trying to get them into mental, physical shape, because I've been to study all the dimensions of wellness.
Right.
And that's something they be connected on as well. One of the books you recommended to me, by the way, got me really hyped up. The 4 Agreements it was.
Yeah. I met Don Miguel Ruiz personally. Yeah. I went to the States and I met him.
Manifested that because I remember we sat with Gina, you and myself. And Gina was Gina was the first employee, right? Gina
Yes.
Yeah.
26 years ago.
It was you and Gina and then me, and we're talking about plans, about doing these draws, and you told me, Kaz, you got to read this book because we always bonded on this.
Yeah.
I want talking supernaturally, manifestation.
Yes.
That was always our thing.
Yes.
And that book was also part of my stimulus. It was amazing.
Yeah. It's
On
an
that
amazing
note,
book. And post that, I think I've given it to 1 million people. It's just such a great book.
I want to talk about, was there a moment in your life where you thought that things were not going to work out? And how did you find the strength to get through that?
So
because everyone's got a story.
Yeah. So today entrepreneurship gets thrown around a lot, right?
Yeah.
But in the days when I started, and I was a youngster, I was like 28, in those days, when I started my business. And in the same year, I started 2 businesses. I started the one which was, Promotion Jockeys Magos Media, and saw very quickly that there was a gap in the market where we were doing promotions, but all the equipment around us was being imported from America. And I was like, why are these guys importing, paying so many fees? We can build it in the country. And a very good mate of mine at the time, Jimmy, had just left the gaming industry as well.
Yes.
And I called him up. I said, listen, dude, I've got this business. There's another gap. I want to do another business, but I can't do it on my own because I don't have the time. Do you want to get involved? You're not doing anything. Yeah. And he came, geez, great idea. Because also he came out of marketing,
Yes.
And then we started this rock and cricket projects, and we started building literally, if you go from Cape to Cairo, any of the equipment that's built in the casinos, money showers, tombolas, all that, we built that. We've built all of them,
And that's engineering.
I sold that business to
That's
him.
engineering skills, bro.
Listen, we went and found a factory. Again, you got to trust yourself. We went and found a factory. We had a conversation, spoke to a few guys, and we finally found the guys that we clicked with, that we knew could build the stuff and were prepared to try new things with us. And they'd also never built the stuff. It was all new, and we were designing. My bad art art school drawers, I was doing art at Damn, and I was drawing
yes.
these things and then saying, okay, this is the drawing. Can you,
yeah.
there's no CAD in,
Yeah.
I had no skills like that. It was drawing it at freehand and then giving it to them and saying, this is what we want to build. Do you think it can work? We put a fan underneath it. And we designed the first money shower, which is round. It was, the others were always square. Yeah. And used to put the fan underneath. They used to push the fan on the side. We came up with some really cool ideas, and that was amazing. I did eventually sell that business to Jimmy. But through that cycle, you're going to mess up. There's, it's life. You're going to mess up.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that what do you do post that?
Yeah.
Or when the lows come. I mean, COVID was scary. I lost, didn't lose, but my clients cut off the tap, stopped paying me. You can imagine casinos closed, restaurants closed, hotels closed. They're all my business. The only guys that were paying me were the retailers, because they were running and they were working, and they could afford to have us around still, and they needed to do the marketing. So we helped them. But that was 20% of my business.
So what do you do in that scenario? Let's say you're in the red now. And
listen, I went.
Say talk with yourself, or is there anyone in your corner?
Yeah.
Or is there a conversation with the creator?
Yeah.
Where's your strength that day?
A bit of everything, huh?
Yeah.
I think a bit of everything. And then just going into yourself.
Yeah.
And like trusting yourself. You got to trust that you are going to pull this off.
Yeah.
And then use your relationships as best you can, make phone calls. I mean, Standard Bank, I'll give them a shout out because it was a hard time. I phoned them. I said, listen, I'm paying off offices. I'm paying off houses. My house, I need a break. They gave me a break for 6 months, which is great. Initially 3 and then another 3. So you use your relationships and leverage them and ask. And if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, how I felt was I was at home. I was working on a desk. I wanted to climb under the desk and go into fetal position, but you can't. I had to feed staff. I wanted a break so that I could still pay salaries, because the same way I was suffering, all my staff were at home. I could not pay them, I knew that we'd get out of it eventually, but I didn't know what. None of us, right?
Yes.
None of us knew how long that was going to be.
Exactly.
That was a black swan. That's probably the worst event. But there's been other. You do have moments of doubt. And you have moments where you go, "Am I going to pull this off? Am I going to be able to do it?" And also, clients come to us as Magos Media, and a lot of the things that I do and the other things I do is because we're innovative, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll come to us and say, "We've got this problem. We need to solve it." So we create something completely new to solve the problem, but that means it hasn't been done before.
Yes.
So during COVID, what actually flipped us and got us through that period was we built an online, the best way to describe it is not my name, right? It's called Metaverse. You've heard of it, right? Mark, we did it before him.
Yeah.
In 2020, we built a platform where we did a 3D walkthrough of an expo. My name was V Expo Lab. It was an expo lab, right?
Yes.
So it's a virtual expo. Yeah. You could walk in and walk up to stands. So we got Unilever involved and Johnson & Johnson, all the guys that took stands, and we did it for Pick n Pay. Pick n Pay was my client, and we built a virtual expo for them where their franchisees could go click on products, look at the product, look at the PDF, look at videos, click buy, place the orders. Wow. Yeah, we just got straight in 2020. Wow. So we were cutting edge. And again, you've got to have the clients that are prepared. They've got a problem. They know they've got a big problem. You can try and solve for it, and you've never done it before. Yeah. And they haven't done it before. And no one's done it before, and you're breaking ground. We launched Nissan Navara on it next year. Yeah. We did another one for Pick n Pay. So it was really good. Under that crazy time, we just built stuff out.
So this resilience was just, you just keep
innovation, agility, you know. I know those things get thrown around, but what does that really look like? And that's what it looks like, is being able to say, shit, I've got people around me that I can just tap into. I know they've got strengths. How do we build new things? And being able to be creative and just tap into your creativity, man. It's just go, And we're all creative,
Yeah.
I get some friends who are like, they're bankers, accountants, because they go, this is my circle these days. And the guys are like, dude, I don't know how you're so creative.
The fact that you could see the spark you saw it in talented people, which means you saw it in other people as well.
100.
You saw how to connect the dots, networking skills, how to go together. What would you say was, when you're looking back to your best moment, the moment when you were like, wow. I mean, personal or business, what is that moment when you were like, wow, I didn't expect this. This really is the epitome.
Listen, I think there's been a couple of moments like that. I'm very fortunate. I think as you have, we do things that we really love.
Yes.
And when you do that, it's great all the time, right? Yeah. And then there's moments that are superb.
Any standout moments?
Standing, I think, at the Super Bowl and doing a massive dream car draw.
Wow.
With like 20,000 people, and holding a crowd and making them just excited and creating a vibe, you know what it's like
with a huge crowd,
with live people. Yeah, it's just amazing,
Yes.
Giving away like millions of rands to people and just giving away things. That was amazing. That was just awesome. Proposing to my wife on a personal level at the Goodman Gallery. She, Lisa's a friend of mine.
And the thing is, it took you a while. We thought you weren't going to meet, but you finally...
I was the forever bachelor.
Yes,
right?
And then all of a sudden she arrived.
Yeah, she appeared, Jade, yeah. Listen, I remember phoning my friend Lisa, and I was like, Lise, listen, I'm going to put an art piece of mine in your gallery. And she said, Petro, what are you talking about? You're joking. I mean, this is a proper gallery. I said, listen, I'm proposing to my girlfriend, to Jade, and I want to put up so I went and did "Will You Marry Me" as a painting. I did a graphic design thing that looked like it was painted.
Swagged up.
And I put it up. We had to take down a William Kentridge. Sorry, William.
Shit, Will.
Let's take a William Kentridge down and put my painting up with my signature at the bottom and saying, "Yeah, Jade, this is for you."
How did you do it? Let's.
We invited a whole lot. I said to Jade, listen, we're going away. We're going to be on holiday for a little while. Why don't you invite all your friends? I've had my friend Lisa's been telling me about some artist that's at Goodman. Why don't we just go?
Check it out.
Go and check it out. We love it.
Because
we love art. Yeah,
friends,
we love gallery. We always visit museums and galleries and stuff. Yes. So I said to her, and then I'll invite some of my mates, and we'll all just go and we'll hang out. It'll be quite lekker before we all go on holiday. We can all have like a gathering and a get together and have some. And a lot of our friends like art anyway and whatever. So we all arrive there. Jade arrived. She's like, dude, this is like a Magos party. Like, this is all people we know. I've prearranged the whole thing, put up the painting, so everybody knows, okay, now slowly, they're all gathering around the painting, So I've kept her away from the painting, and then we come in, and she's like, what's going on? No, open.
It's open, so everyone can see, but she doesn't see.
Yeah, she hasn't seen it because I've been getting also our mates to keep her in other areas of the gallery. Eventually, I'm like, come, let's go check. Everybody's like checking this one piece out. Let's go see what's going on. I drag her, get her through the crowd. I get her there. She looks at the painting. She's like, confused. I mean, she's in this.
Why is everyone looking at
the best gallery around? And there's like this. Will you marry me?
Like a Salvador Dali.
She just freaked out, man. She just went crazy. Everybody went, it was clapping. It was really such a special moment.
That's amazing.
And then my daughter arriving, obviously, from a personal perspective. But there's been some standout moments. Building the studio and getting amazing. There's been some amazing.
On my
moments.
intro, as I was walking in here, I was saying to the camera that I remember, I remember before this. It's like saying to your niece, I knew you before you were born. I remember when you talked about this place that you wanted to invest in, right? And then when you had one room here, and then you got the studio here with, with the guys Costa and them, and Peps, rest in peace.
Yes.
And then coming back, and then we got the acting agency, and then slowly but surely. And one thing I put it down to was the consistency of character. When I read that book, The Four Agreements, and every time we've talked, it's always been the same thing. Positivity, there's been a consistency, and there's been a wellness. Now that I studied wellness, and wellness is 7 dimensions. It's emotional, economical, it's social, it's environmental, it's spiritual.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's not just fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at that point, I want to talk about how wellness has played a part in your life.
Yeah.
From a kid holding you together, whether you knew it or not.
Yeah.
What was wellness to you, and how did it tie in? Because you're sober minded. You're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You've been consistent.
Yeah.
What's that been all about, and where did it come from?
I think what I've always done really well at athletics at school, but I never excelled. I've never really been like a brilliant
Yes, yes.
athlete, a brilliant whatever, best academic, best mathematician.
With those guys,
just getting by, doing the stuff.
Yeah.
So athletics was kind of a big thing. I couldn't get into the cricket stuff and whatever. I was good, but then my parents couldn't come fetch me because they had the supermarket. Again, tribal stories, whatever. Anyway, whatever. But what was cool was when I moved to Greece for 3 years, I got into doing basketball. And that was...
And we need a hoop sometime, bro.
Man. I'm too short for it, but I'll do it,
I thought I was going to be an NBA player until I was like, I discovered the dancing and stuff. But I still love it.
Yeah. And I love basketball. So I started playing basketball, and then I started cycling, and I was swimming because I was at the sea. Yeah. And those three things just kept me going. And also being a teenager, you go a bit loopy, and you're trying to figure yourself out and your relationship to the world, your family. Yes. And that kept me sane. Yes. And I felt like that was always, where I went back to, just to get out, do that thing, And as I got older, eventually I had to keep fit. So I'd try and get a gym or go and do something, whatever that something was, whether it was hiking and it is so important, that fitness of body helps fitness of mind. And
science is back in it. I mean, I took myself, even after becoming famous and whatever, I went back to school. I was like, I love this so much, but I need to answer people when they start asking me questions like, what does it do for you? Da, 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 da. I was like, I need to tell them more than just my passion. So I went, and when I studied, it blew my mind even more. Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. So I think, it's important to stay fit. I've now gotten, I picked up a bit of weight because obviously I had a young daughter. Exactly. So I'd gotten a bit out of shape, and then I was like, I got to get back in. It's like, it's done, So
but your wife's fit as well.
Yeah, my wife trains as well.
And I owe you guys a workout, by the way. You got to,
Deal. We'll come.
Both of you?
We're gonna come. Come when we're in town together, because we were, all over the place. But I started to. I think. Sorry, my mind went off. But one of the things that's important is just kind of being able to get your day started. And I started doing like 6 days of training is what I've implemented now from sort of end of last year. Exactly. So I went from 3, 4 to 6.
It's a life changer.
And it's a game changer.
Because it's a lifestyle. It's not just a hobby.
It becomes a lifestyle. And I think, being in my 50s, it's a big thing, right? Being able to start young, because it's going to carry you through. It's going to carry you through as you get older, because as you get older, you thank your younger self.
Well, I mean, science is only proving that right now. And I'm so glad that it's backing up everything that I've ever thought about. I stumbled upon it. The times when I went through some depression, when I look back, I realized I wasn't as active as I was when I was younger. Yeah. So being active was actively my antidepressant, releasing that DHE and everything else. Yeah. When I went to study, I was like, oh, this is it. And I just wanted to become this wellness influencer that just changed everyone's life through it. That's why on TV and everything else. And now I've made it my lifestyle. And now we're stepping back onto the media, but with wellness. Yeah. Whereas before it'll be like, oh, play this part, okay, play that part. Yeah. I got to a point where I felt like I was not being authentic.
Yes.
I wanted to be me.
Yeah.
And what was I chosen to do? What was my purpose?
Yeah.
And by being of service, it just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying into your authentic self. Listen, it had a time, I think I got you into that Jackie Chan movie. Do you remember I was at your audition and you got into Jackie Chan? I mean, this guy has performed with Jackie Chan, man.
That was because I used to have pictures of my wall, and I still remember auditioning for that. And I remember having to go for like martial arts lessons just to even get that casting. When I went for that casting, I mean, the guy was like, okay, show us this happened. The guy, you kidnapping this person, blah, blah, blah. And the honest truth is, I did some of the movements, and some of the movements I made up the choreography on the spot. I came across like a fifth Dan. Meanwhile, I was like, I just wanted that job so bad, P. There's nothing like hunger. Cristiano Ronaldo talks about his son, saying when he was coming up, he was so hungry, literally. And he just wishes his son had the same hunger, but it's different. I was so hungry because there was no one there. There's no mom, no dad. It's just me,
sure.
Yeah. But here we are now. And today is about, because we don't have much time, I just wanted to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Often people give people the flowers and it's too late. You had a funeral, he did this for me, he did that for me. I know this is the beginning of our next chapter, but I've been seeing what you've been doing, and it's normal for you to tell me well done, but today's about me telling you, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for mentoring me and giving me the opportunity and seeing that light in me, because what you did was give me the confidence to be the best that I can be. So now that I, in turn, can pass that on to others.
Amazing.
And so it's like the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You told me about, do you know how long it takes to be an overnight sensation? I was like, what? You said 10,000 hours. You said, you taught me like all these things, 10,000 hours, 10 years. So you were into wellness without you even knowing it.
Yes.
Mental wellness, the 4 agreements. I mean, that's mental, that's emotional.
Yeah.
Before we go, I wanted to ask, what are your goals and dreams going forward? When you look forward for you, your family, what are your hopes and wishes?
Yeah. Look, I'd like to be able to sort of, I love traveling.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah.
So I think having homes in places where I really love would be ideal. And and that's a big dream.
So there.
And it would be nice to just arrive and be able to just get into your own home and just chill, right, and whatever. And it's in places that I really love. That would be like a future big dream, right?
And don't forget where you are. But you're the only person that I can have these conversations with. You dare me to dream.
Yeah.
You dare me to talk that talk.
Yeah. You have
Carry on.
And the thing is, 100%. I mean, the reality is that if you don't dream big, then you're going to land up small, right? So I've always maintained and I've put goals in place that I know, even though they seem, if you said to 26-year-old P that, like, have these offices of 850 square studios, going to be doing stuff. Offices,
like a spaceship.
Yeah, offices in Athens, operating in Dubai, having business in the UK. It's not like, it would be unrealistic for me. It would be, the dream was too far-fetched for me. But sitting here, I'm saying, geez, and actually Jason said a very interesting thing in the podcast that we had. Yeah. He said, I regret my dream wasn't bigger. Yeah. And that's so well put. Yeah. Because I really think that is so exact that, I mean, dreaming bigger.
A wise man once said that you want to die not achieving your dreams. They must be so big that you got to come back lifetimes. My dreams are so big. People ask me, what do you want to be? I'm like, it's so massive. If I explain it to you, you think this guy's crazy. It's like United Nations level. It's like, but it truly is to bring everyone together under a common goal.
Yeah.
To have some sort of, I know it sounds corny, but some peace, some understanding, some respect for fellow human beings, and love. Yeah. And love.
We need
love
it more
yourself.
now than ever.
If you can't love yourself, you can't love anyone else except your shadows.
Yeah.
Before you go, I want to ask all my guests, what is a fit life for you?
What is a fit life for me?
The definition of fit life.
Interesting question. So, reading as many books as I can get to, which is almost impossible these days. Training every day, spending time with my daughter, and taking time out with my wife whenever I can to have some time together, which is also very difficult to achieve these days, and just having those date nights and spending time. That for me is a conclusive, but there's one big fifth one, which I have an extended family, right?
Yes.
I have people like you who are my extended family. And we started off, when I started the business, I kept calling it my family, because we're quite a small team.
Yes.
We've now grown, so I can't call it my family anymore, so I call it my tribe. Yeah. And this is my tribe. Yeah. And, I have 75 people that are part of my tribe, and that's growing, please God. And I just enjoy, like the fifth element for me is just being around these people that have come along the journey and have trusted me to lead to going somewhere, to making these magic moments happen. And I really, that for me is a fit life.
Pedro, I mean, in closing, all I got to say is thank you.
Thank you.
May you go from wealth, abundance, blessings, and may you continue to inspire, and may your family be blessed. Guys, if you like what we're doing here at Strength Out of Struggle Fit Life, please like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, keep reaching for the stars. You never know where it could lead you. Sir? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kaz. So good to see you again.
We out.